Hey, what's up? This is Eric the Red. I've been asked this a whole bunch of times, and so I figured I would make a video about it. But it was just my recommendations for business books, entrepreneur books that can help you out that people might not have heard of. So it's a simple list. This will evolve as time goes on, and some of these you might have heard of. I just want to go through the ones that have helped me the most. So. Crushing It by Gary V is certainly a popular book. Gary V has gotten extremely popular in the last probably 2 years or so, ever since he really made it onto the scene in all these kind of like major publications. Before, he was kind of in the ever general like entrepreneur coach kind of field, but he's really evolved. And I think what's really fun about this book is that you get to hear the perspective of all the people who are using his methodology, and it's so redundant. It's just so, like, the first probably like 15 pages of the book, you get everything that you need out of it, but all of the stories are really inspiring. I use this book purely as a point of inspiration because it's all about like hustling, posting every day, creating content, like not caring about what other people think and just like doing your thing and doing what you love. And so this is absolutely high on my recommendation list. The next one that you probably have never heard of is this book called The Zigzag Principle. And it's by a guy named Rich Christensen. And Rich is a homie of mine. He's a mentor that I met in college, and really cool dude. Very like normal Utah businessman who has been extremely successful. And what this is, it's a goal setting book. Like, it teaches you how to set goals and create these guardrails for your life, which is a huge lesson that I did not learn from the book. I had to learn it on my own, and then I found the book and realized, oh, I made a huge mistake in the way that I went about running my first business, because he talks about how life is never balanced, right? There will be times when you're working 80 hour normal weeks up to 120 hours, just like grinding your ass off. And then there are sometimes when it's time to spend time with your family. They need you, they want you, you only go to work a couple hours a day. You have everything kind of on autopilot, and that's this zigzag principle that he talks about. And I'll probably make another video about the guardrails for my life, because it was such a unique situation that I was a part of that helped me realize that setting boundaries in terms of like how long you're going to do a business, how much money you're going to expend into it, what emotional and relationship capital you're going to expend on the business. Really great book here. The next one, Free the Idea Monkey. So I don't even remember who gave me this book. I think it might have been one of my colleagues, but it's one of those books where you could probably get the whole gist of it in the first 10 pages or so. But there are some things in here that merit, like, you need to work on them. You need to write some stuff down, consider some things. The main points that I took from this, I don't want to spoil too much of it for you, is that in every organization and in every like relationship, there's somebody who's typically the idea person, and then there's usually executors, and there's more in the book about these relationships that exist within these corporations. But if you, as a business owner, if you want to foster creativity and innovation in your business, then you need to identify your idea monkeys and then the people who can help them achieve those. And if you can organize those people into these very specific units of execution, then your business is going to be on the cutting edge. So they reference all sorts of different kinds of businesses. Apple, back in the day, maybe not particularly now. They didn't know about Tesla, but I would put Tesla on that list, at least when they wrote this book. So G. Michael Maddock, he really understands that the idea person who feels just controlled and just like stuck in a cage needs to be let out, and they need to be let out in a systematic way. And so this is one of my favorite books. Again, you can get the gist very, very quickly. Next is Gap Selling by Keenan. Now, Keenan is really fun to listen to. He's just this kind of gruff dude who really believes in what he's talking about. And for anybody that is running a business, you have to do sales. You know, you're going to have to get in front of customers and explain why what you're selling is any good. And gap selling is just this process of being able to overcome objections by proposing the gap, right? So what is your current state? What is your desired future state? What's the distance between those points? And does my product fulfill that need? So it helps you with understanding what your product positioning in the market is. It helps you understand what kind of questions you need to ask, what kind of labels you need to make, what kind of pricing discussions you need to have. So for any entrepreneur who's just like trying to figure out how to sell, this is high on my list. There's a bunch of other like challenger sales that I would put on here, but this one's maybe a little less popular, and it's been indispensable for me. I'd recommend it to anybody. Okay, last, certainly not least, is side hustle. Now, side hustle is a little bit better known. The beauty of this book is that it's meant as, it's a playbook, right? Like Chris, he has this outline throughout the book that's like, okay, day 1, do this, day 2, do this, day 3, do this, and it like how to set up all these different pieces and what you need in order to start like your actual LLC and what kind of systems you need in place. And so it's very much like business format franchise for starting up a hustle. And there's a bunch of people who are successful who follow kind of this, even if they don't know it, they follow this framework where, especially for like Amazon, for instance, you don't need like 40 hours a week every single week for the rest of the time that somebody's on the account or that you're selling on Amazon. You really just need like 40 hours at the very beginning where you're setting up all the systems that will allow you to take a step back from your business and actually create a lifestyle from it. You know, you're only you have like 5 tasks that you just always do, and you set those up at the very beginning, and you set your goals in place really clearly. Side Hustle is a great book for anybody who is trying to start a business, who has absolutely no idea what they're doing. My recommendation would be to listen to the whole thing first, just one time, listen through it, and he's going to have you do things and say, hey, you should do this, you should do this. You will hear the things that you lack, right? They'll tell you, oh, you should probably have this in place already. And then with that thing that they assume that you already have, they're asking you to do something with it. So listen through it, make a list of things that you might not have, whether that's materials or contacts or even just like a business idea for that matter. He talks about that. And so if you want to get to like revenue pretty quickly, it's 2020, 2021, you can do it. And this book is a really simple playbook. I think it needs a few updates, and there are a lot of books very similar to it, and pretty much any entrepreneur has some sort of course. But this is my recommendation. So those are the top 5 books that you might not have ever heard of for entrepreneurship.